What lies ahead is a veil of soft orange dust, lifted from the earth and cast into the air, to be moved onwards towards my city. The roads shimmer, but it is not the reflections from moisture we see. It is the road surface hammered smooth by car wheels, leaving it glass-like during the hot, dry summers of South Australia. Locals are astute in their analysis of such veils, for white, grey or blackened smoke from bushfires carries signals of alarm. Red-orange dust allows a certain relief from danger, but instead brings sadness, for it is the topsoil that is being carried away, and in centuries past great plains of exposed soil were not common. Before the harvest, the earth is secure by the plants. It is only the pollen and the rich smell of grain that is carried by the wind. A quilt of gold rests on the land where peppermint box gums used to dot the landscape. Falcons and eagles still circle the air above, just as they always have. Farmers have left sections of native vegetation, usually in areas where the harvester cannot easily pass. Here the tiny orchids may still grow, roos can rest, and birds can nest. Humankind have not always had the upper hand, for they depend on water for their agricultural requirements. Animal trails all lead into this farm dam. They are straight lines like arrows, not meandering and curvy. Beneath its dried surface must rest waiting creatures, the aquatic life like yabbies that spring to life when rain has replenished this basin. The darkened waters signal a distinct concentration of water. It is like a canned soup that needs another amount of water to be added. The local animals must wish for rain under these circumstances. This natural spring can be found to be very deep at other times, with water reaching the edge of the soft yellow grass. Its tiered edges have been exposed and are now baked by the hot sun. I often take photos from the passing car, for we often see so many things as we race through different landscapes, but do not hold them in our awareness. The sheep sit in the shade. Sometimes there is no room for them all. Sometimes there is no shade provided for them. Cloud puffs floating by. The hot winds come from the north, through the deserts of Central Australia, the cold from the south, curling forward from Antarctica. There's a white road leading into town. Sometimes I think the proportion of floral fabrics, velvet, moss-like cushions, and artificial flowers that are found in local homes is in direct proportion to the semi-arid surroundings' lack of such verdant abundance. The long-standing architecture seems to take on similar coloured hues as the surroundings. It is more than a light sprinkling of the local dust. It is a shared bleaching, cracking, and processes that returns once stable objects to powders. The earth makes no discrimination between man-made or natural elements as it reaches those objects to them and returns them to nature itself. The city can be full of filigree, false promises and decorations that are reminders of fluff or featureism. Instead, there can be a practical and to-the-point simplicity to be found within these vast semi-arid plains. The fierce winds seem to blow away all that falsehood, metaphorically speaking, leaving only essential lived experience. There is a foundational house that has been extended to include small adjustments in the form of vernacular architecture. Side gated areas, outbuildings, tanks, pipelines, roof weights can all be found in the area, with an understanding that many owners may have designed and built their own improvements to their homes to make life more comfortable. There are natural orders that occur in each place. There may be difficulties and misunderstandings if outsiders do not know any awareness of such specific conditions to be found there. Outsiders may be like the young pup who must learn the ways of the new pack. Even if hardships, restrictions and a sense of order are part of daily life, there are also small mercies to be found. Dry, dusty earth may also be a wellspring for the freshest, chemical-free vegetables growing, enhanced by the black gold, as we called it, underneath the shearing shed floors. There are particular colour schemes I see repeated, where warm pinks and oranges, similar to the surrounding earth, are contrasted with baby blues. The outdoors is very glary, so it is not often I find brilliant white walls in homes of long-term dwellers. When you step back to include a wider view of this world, it can be useful, for here the natural untidiness or regular irregularity can be grasped. Stock-smoothed walking trails oppose the straight lines of the fence lines. Pockets of gold underline different growing conditions. Tree lines signal areas where tractors cannot go, but marsupials can. One can grasp the ancientness of the land. Seams of land can appear to be teased apart, and this is a reminder of the forces below our feet that can move the surface with no regard to us. The man-made patchwork is fading in this scene as the dust has reclaimed what it knows well to be part of itself. This reminds me of a Martian-like landscape. NASA has many pages devoted to dust control in its Space Settlement Future Plans handbooks. Not many of the movies included this ongoing problem in its scenes of space travel. Instead, gleaming white polished surfaces belie the danger of the tiny, intruding particles that would have to be attended to. My father has taken this photograph in the mid-20th century. You can see the orange haze that flies up from the earth. It is like a coral glow that sits above the earth, a zone of interface where solids turn to face the atmospheric conditions of a place. The roads, the buildings are all cast with this light dusting, and it is only the peppermint box gums that stand in a solid display of opaque hues. My father also archived an early vegetable garden amid the dust and lawnless backyard. The paths, ordered geometric design and carefully placed sentinel tomato stakes signal efforts to bring hope and order over the dust and its agenda. Some regional gardens are remarkable in their capacity to offset the dusty local realities. Here we can appreciate a sort of innate creativity where all resources are utilised for the purpose of food production for family and neighbours. Various areas have been designated specific purposes and then regarded as sites for particular activities. There's a corncob corner that makes an attractive backdrop at the rear of the garden next to the trimmed fruit trees. The owner has to give away buckets of produce. He does not know what to do with it all. This could be said to be a problem seeped in life force itself. I like to visit the same location at various times of the day and during various seasons throughout the year. This dawn scene is a reminder that growing cycles require a clearing of the land before new sprouting can be accommodated. Fruit tree skeletons are laid bare, pathways are uncovered again. There is bare earth exposed here, yet there seems to be no danger of dust leaving the presence of this morning's dew. This is a painting of the same garden. I've taken photographs only to find arching stripes in the sky, so that is why I paint the clearly invisible in such an obvious way. This garden's area of dusty earth are accepted side by side with the abundant vegetables. A few streets away there is a front yard bursting with flowers. One forgets the dry, parched roads that led to this town. Mind you, the plants it contains are tough and enduring. There's also evidence of the battle to keep the garden watered and alive. Perhaps its ornaments are to maintain colour and interest when the heat withers all. Once again, there is a home with many different sites for outdoor activities depicted. The vegetable garden has been retired, leaving a large area for the dust to play in. The cellar has been represented as a red, important square, for it is where food could be stored and a cool sitting area was to be found in decades earlier. Despite a more or less grassless front yard, there can still be somewhere to sit and listen to the birds. Many dwellers leave water out for local wildlife. At night, the fairy lights are turned on. Despite the dust, there is a celebratory and appreciative atmosphere possible. With the potential for extra land in regional areas, there can be more dust, weeds and snakes to contend with at a domestic level. They are liminal spaces that alter in their grappling according to the rainfall. Sometimes the dust is favoured, for then you see those snakes as they make their way to the various tasks of their days. Arched lines in the sky are back again, as are the cloud puffs. We have forgotten so many aspects of how to read the natural world. The seasons that number more than 4 in a year, the movements of certain animals that signal seasonal abundance, the counting of blossoms to foretell of the destructiveness of summer, the fleeing birds before the storm. We can strengthen our awareness of such movements again, and this may make us more attuned to our surroundings. Great sheets of clouds can roll in from the south. Often they do not reach some parts of South Australia, but it is a blessing when you smell the rain and see the white mist dampen down the dust. The earth seems to brace itself for the life-giving waters here. Tremendous downpours can drop heavy rain where none had fallen for months, even years. These downpours can build to flash floods as gullies channel the downpours. Much of the water soaks down to the earth. This is Australia's secret. Much of the water is stored naturally underground, away from the blazing sun. There is little surface water to be seen, and the gullies may instead be funneling the water to where it will be held safe. A soaking of rain brings new life, even if it is in the form of weeds such as this purple salvation jane. They say that frogs and toads that live underground hear the rumble of the spring thunderstorms, and this signals to them to stage by stage make their way to the surface. The seasons are changing though, and sometimes these creatures break the surface only to find no food waiting as it had previously. Rain and sunshine shimmer over Mount Remarkable. The nearby plain was over-ploughed when the land was first cleared and farmed. One gets a sense that the land has not recovered from its stripping and the constant stirring of its soil, thus making it vulnerable to the strong winds that sweep along. A little further along the road we saw a rainbow. It is another sort of archway like my painted stripes in the sky depicting the electric energy of the universe. The rainbows are a transient message, and perhaps more poignant when rain does not often reach such dusty plains. Perhaps the rainbow was a sort of magic wand to be a harbinger of renewal. The soft green will return. No dust will be seen. Different scents will fill the air. Perhaps winter clouds will be frequent visitors. The roads will be washed clean, the leaves renewed in their water reserves. The secret springs will fill. The favoured sides of the hills will glow emerald green, where dust once billowed. But there is no need for smug complacency, for the cloud puffs will go south and out to sea again. We do not want to return. It is only at the earth's whims that we can be assured of the comforts of plentiful water.